Hello everyone. Yeah, this is Abhijit from Mega Power Future Energies Private Limited. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. We are the team of IIT technocrats working in the field of solar from past 14 years. So, in a way, you can say we are working towards the sustainable environment and sustainable society, which is our today's topic. But what actually sustainable means? I mean, I believe sustainable development is the development that meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their present needs. That is the definition, according to me, has to be the sustainable development means. Uh, yes, our today's topic is like making progress towards sustainable society and making energy more sustainable. So it is really very complex subject, complex topic to be discussed, but I hope we can justify in 45 minutes how we can working hand in hand with the both part of the coin. Uh, uh, in one session, the lady says, even if to reply a mail, thank you, it takes 17 something 0.7 gram of carbon emission. At that point of time, it looks so weird कि just to say thank you and just to reply over the mail, it is taking 0.17 gram of carbon emission. So, uh, 1 unit of thermal power we generate creates a zero point 0.7 kg of carbon dioxide. And that's the fact figure. And installing 1 kilowatt of solar on your rooftop is equal to planting 2 trees. Just see the difference. So that is the stats which I have currently. And energy generated by the solar is much, much cheaper than that of the uh, thermal power plant, right? So what you are bringing to the society, if somebody putting up solar power, which is cheaper than that of thermal power, so you are bringing more money to his pocket. And again, here circular economy works. When you are bringing more economy to the pocket, it can save more for their future, for their children. They can increase their standard of living, and they can do lot many things with the help of this money. So I would like to know, George, your opinion, how your company, how your product is relevant to our topic and how we can justify. Because I think, see, after having my graduation from IIT Kanpur, I have a patent on my name on electricity theft location and detection. Instead of going for a US for high-paid salary job or white-collar cyber coolie, I decided to serve my motherland. And I don't know how to start it, but I thought being an entrepreneur and giving a jobs to many people, we can serve this way to our motherland. That's how I feel, that's how I think. So over to you, George.
Before I answer you or try to contribute to the session, I take your permission to give a small message to the public.
Please go
May
ahead,
I?
sir.
I'd like to stand up if you don't mind. We were talking about plastic some time back. Please take your mobile and Google at what temperature does PET, so this is made of PET, PET, leaches. Could you just please Google? It'll just take 2 seconds. Anybody? It starts leaching at 25 degrees Celsius, and it degrades faster at 50 degrees. And if you go out, if you ever tried putting this bottle outside in the sun and drinking it, you'll see it tastes differently. The reason is, under UV, it leaches faster, it degrades faster. How can you make jackets out of this? I don't understand. It is a wrong message. You cannot upscale plastic. You cannot upscale something which is made for single use. Please understand that. There's a wrong message going out in the public, starting with the PM, unfortunately, that you can upscale plastic, single-use plastic. You cannot. Please get your science fundamentals right. That is important. Thank you. Now back to our session. I'm sorry, but I had to.
You start a new debate.
I had to take this across because this is a fundamental science. People are just forgetting the fundamentals and going on greenwashing left and right. So I just had to get this across. I'm so sorry if I disturbed any of the decorum of the session. Yes.
Please go ahead.
All right, so to introduce myself, I'm George Matthew. Like my friend here, right after college, I also got into sustainability. That was way back in 1994 when I was called MAD, so make a difference. MAD is for make a difference. Anyway, so it's been a long journey. It has been an interesting journey, no regrets. Well, when you're talking about sustainability, it does not mean solar, it does not mean wind. It's a holistic approach. You cannot address the problem with one product or one solution. It is a multidimensional approach. I would say sustainability starts with going local. And we all went through it during COVID, right? You didn't have your Amazon. You were dependent on yourself. So I was living in Cochin at that time, and I could really feel it. So go local. Local where? First is bring in resource efficiency. Resource efficiency into your homes, into your offices, into whatever you do. Whatever you do. See how you can be sustainable locally for your energy sources, for your water requirement, for your food, for all your basic necessities. Only that small percentage of excess what you need should come from outside. So tomorrow you're stuck with COVID. It may not be COVID, it will be something else for sure, but you're going to get into it again. You need to sustain yourself. Today, fortunately, we have enough technologies to make us resource efficient. First, we all talk about solar, we all talk about wind. Let's talk about energy efficiency first. Let's talk about how efficient you can be in terms of your energy usage. I come from Kerala, where people build large homes, and hardly 2 people or 3 people live in the home. You know, we have the largest. We have more than 1 million homes which are empty. The Kerala government just came out with the empty house cess. You have to pay taxes for keeping a house empty. So what are we talking about? So sustainability should start local. That is my view.
So I'll start by introducing myself. So I come from Ampton Energy. We are manufacturers of lithium-ion batteries, which are used in UPS and inverter systems, and telecom and electric vehicles and some other specific applications. So to me, I'll talk about sustainability in terms of energy sustainability, because we all come from the energy sector. And I feel that sustainability and energy go hand in hand, because you really cannot have an energy source, or if you're relying on an energy source that's not sustainable, that ends after some time, then you're not in a very good spot. And that is where, it's been a while since we all realized that the fossil fuels are not a permanent solution to our energy needs, and that's where all of our industry comes from, where solar or wind or more renewable forms of energy come from. There's been a lot of discussion in the other panels as well about economics and sustainability. So I feel that those two are not different discussions. Economics and sustainability go hand in hand. And actually, it's the way we want to put it forward. Like, there's an initial capital investment to resources which are more sustainable, like a wind installation or a solar installation might cost you more than initially a capital investment, more than what you're currently consuming in terms of electricity. But it's going to save you more money later on in terms of your electricity bills. So what I feel is that economics and sustainability go hand in hand. And through the period of time, we realize the economic benefits of sustainability as well. So that is where, all of our new technology comes in, and all the technology does come in with a cost, but I feel that that cost gets realized. And we all have seen that if you do not make these changes to move to more greener resources of energy, maybe uh, we see all the negative impacts of the way that we've been doing things. So, and those negative impacts in terms of climate change or catastrophic events that we see now, they come at an economic cost as well. So I feel that sustainability and economics are two things that go very hand in hand. And in the long run, it always saves us costs.
I'm Nimish Jain. I work with a company called AirTouch Solar. It's an Israel-based company into robotics. So basically what we do, we actually make renewable energy more sustainable. So my fellow speaker has talked about, being local. So very rightly said that, in India, when we talk about, grid transmission and distribution losses, we are talking in the range of around 20 to 25%. And what makes the solar and wind energy more, I would say, attractive is one of the biggest reason is it is decentralized. So you can generate this electricity at the source of consumption or very near to the source of consumption. So it practically eliminates the transmission and distribution losses, or maybe very, very little. That's one. My fellow speaker also spoke about economics and economy and sustainability. Definitely they go hand in hand. And in fact, now adding to what she said is there are business models, innovative business models wherein companies or corporates or even households don't need to invest capex upfront. There are companies who work in OPEX model wherein they'll put the solar system on your rooftop, they'll manage it, they'll maintain it, they'll take operation and maintenance of it, and then they sell power to you. The only thing is you have to probably sign a long-term power purchase agreement with them which lasts for say 20, 25 years. But at the same time, on one hand, you are saving the cost of electricity. Typically in Mumbai, we pay like, commercially we pay like 12 to 15 rupees per kilowatt hour or per unit, wherein these companies sell at close to around 6 to 8 rupees. So on one hand, you save cost, OPEX cost, and on the other hand, you save CAPEX because you don't need to put and they'll take care of it. That's one. And second thing is, yes, coming back to what we do, we produce robots that clean solar panels, dry cleaning of solar panels. And as you all know that solar panels, when they generate electricity, they need to be maintained and cleaned probably, once a month or twice a month, depending on the geography and the location. Like for Rajasthan, on one hand, the water is scarce, and on the other hand, you need to clean panel because the soiling loss or the loss that is being generated because of the dust and sand is much more. So we produce robots that are controlled by artificial intelligence, and they are autonomous robots that can run at early in the morning or late in the evening. And they don't use water for cleaning solar panels. On one hand, you increase the generation by close to 2 to 3 to even 5%, depending again on the location. And on other hand, you save billions of liters of water every year. So that's what we do.
Thank you, Nimish. I have a complaint about you that you were not on the REI Expo stall, so I'll take care of you after the session. Because yes, your products are patented and I would like to see and know more about your product.
Sure.
And
So we are in
technology.
Noida. We have our manufacturing facility in Noida. All of you are more than welcome to witness the factory. And we have thousands of robots running in Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Gujarat. So we can probably arrange a site visit as well as in Vinny.
So George, taking your topic, like be local. So it's like when there are a lot of local, there is a lot of competition, right? And as in businessman and economy go hand in hand, we want less competition, right? So going for local and on the other hand, handling the competition is really strange and interesting situation, I think, right? So these are all new technology. These are all new products. Hardly Maharashtra adopted solar energy in 2016. It was among the last state who adopted the solar energy as a net metering policy. I personally believe that there are a lot of players who are not well educated, are into the sector. But what they are doing, we really thankful to them because they are educating to the society. भाई सोलर लगाओ पैसे बच जाएंगे आपके, right? So they are educating, fine, that's okay. They are not doctors. We call them in our language, they are compounders. They are not doctors, they are not specialists, but they are doing. But at the same time, we all businessmen, we all entrepreneur, and we are doing a job. We know that version 1 is better than version none. So at least if you want to go for exercise, at least put up your shoes first. Take that first small step. So people who are not expert, but they are taking the effort to make people aware about the sustainable environment. They are creating that awareness so that afterward doctor can take care of it. What you say? What's your opinion now for local and economy?
See, it's all about building the right ecosystem. You're referring to the local competition or local people who are in the field. As you rightly said, the level of expertise is lacking, but they have their own skill sets. So skill sets are, one is the networking they'll have locally. Secondly, they can be good installers, right? So it's about building a right ecosystem, which unfortunately in India we don't have yet. But I have operated in Australia also. In Australia, it is very clear. The ecosystem is very clear. You have a marketing company which does the solar marketing. You have an installer company who does only installation. You have a design engineering company which is like us, who does the design engineering. And you also have a company which is focusing only on the O&M. So the ecosystem is set. So everybody makes their money.
I think, as you rightly said, Abhijit, that these players, they are not that well educated, but they are contributing to the market in their own way. What I feel in India, the sector, the solar and battery sector is still a little unorganized. It's slowly emerging, and I think it's slowly coming out as an organized, it will come out as an organized sector in some time. But since, you know, the population of our country is so high, and, you know, there are multiple players, and even some developed market, like if you look at the lead acid battery industry. So you'll have bigger players, but you know, you'll have all these small retail businesses and lots of distributors working in the field who are like local small-time businesses. And they are equally important to the business because we do have we do need a huge distribution network in the country to, you know, get to the end user. So I feel like these players are equally important. And as the awareness amongst them and, you know, as the technology itself matures and the awareness amongst them also will increase, and they'll still be an essential part of the ecosystem even when, you know, bigger players take over. So in India, the small businesses are important.
Nimish.
So Abhijit, you spoke about two things, right? The first thing is about being, you know, competition, is it good or bad? So I think, you know, the first thing I must say is competition is good. And again, coming back to the solar energy, which I've been working for last 14 years. So, I mean, when we started, the tariffs were close to around 18 rupees, 19 rupees per kilowatt hour from solar, which is now close to around 1.9, maybe 2 rupees, you know. And that has happened because of a huge stiff competition. The panel prices, which were trading at close to around $3, is now $0.3, so which is almost 10% of the price that you know, we witnessed a drop in last 10, 15 years. So competition is, yes, it's good. The only thing is how you compete, with whom you compete, on what standards you compete, that's very, very important. Now coming to your second point where you said that, you know, that in India currently, you know, there are a lot of people who are trying to work, who are not that skilled or not that knowledgeable. But again, you will agree that, you know, if you take again back like 5 years back, 10 years or 7 years back, the type of questions that were being asked to people like us, you know, I mean, I've witnessed, you know, the very first event which I attended in 2012 or 2013, people were asking the solar panel, ye per square feet kaisa diya? So people were thinking this is like a tile or something that, you know, like a piece of marble or something. Now at least they start asking, you know, what is the price per watt peak and all those. So I believe there is a big transition that has happened in the industry. Yes, learning is a continuous process, as we all know. So that's there. But I think now people talk about levelized cost of energy. People talk about the cost of generation, cost of ownership. So all these things are happening for good. And I think there has been a dramatic shift, in terms of the knowledge, skill set in the last 5, 7 years. But yes, there is a long way to go, and we are all learning. So I think that should continue.
I completely agree, Nimish, with you. And uh, this reminds me of last to last panel discussion about like plastic and something like that. And before that, in the morning CSR event, everybody is saying we are criminals, we are doing crime, but we are setting off by giving some money so that we can do less crime or we can just balance it somehow, right? So we are partnering with crime. Again, we ourselves is ourselves self-acclaimed, you can say, environment specialist, or we can say sustainable environment kind of thing. But apart from it, we know the truth that solar panels are not easily degradable. So solar waste is going to be prepared, after 20, 25 years. So how you look at it, I am sometimes scary about the situation. All the barren lands are with the solar panels. All the panels are generating power for now. But 25 years when destroy those panels, it will be going to be definitely difficult. I personally believe there should be a SWOT analysis of each and every product which we do. हम हमारा SWOT analysis करते हैं. What are our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat? So when plastic came in existence, why people haven't done the SWOT analysis? There are million people, million brain working behind generating a one solution, but they see the other side of the coin is going to hamper us, is going to hamper the environment badly, and now everybody is creating something out of it, which takes lot of water to make the shirt or make the something out of plastic, or like plastic roads, everything. Why? I mean, if the products comes in the existence, why it's not approved on the basis of how it will be degradable after its life is over? So that should be somehow addressed, I believe.
Every time you wash the jacket made of recycled plastic, or as you call it, it is contributing to microplastic contamination of the water. Every time you're going to wear the jacket outside in the sun, you're prone to cancer. Okay, coming back to the subject. So as you rightly said, every product has its plus and minuses, right? Anything excess is also a problem. Solar excess is also a problem. Solar excess in the grid is unstable grid. The grid will fail. I think it is Eastern Australia or Southern Australia which had this problem. There's excess solar and wind on the grid, and they had a blackout. So we need to do. And of course, we can find solutions, sustainable solutions to the waste handling also, including plastic. But there are technologies. But people try to take the easier route always, and what we can call greenwashing or green toxicity or whatever.
I think I agree that recycling of any product is possible, but it's not as easy. It takes time and effort. And I'm not an expert on plastic recycling, so I'll not comment on that. But I
What
can
about
comment.
batteries in your
Yes,
field, the battery?
yes. So I can comment on my industry. So lithium-ion battery is a relatively new product in the market. So now there are government rules that are coming up around recycling. Like as a manufacturer, I have to partner with a recycler and think about what my product is, where my product is going to end at the end of the life cycle. So I think that's a very important question before we start putting in products in the market. And I feel like our industry is addressing it. We still don't have exact percentages of how much of the material can be recycled, as the work is still in progress. But yeah, we are addressing it, and that's the part of making us sustainable, right? We cannot call our product a part of a sustainable energy if it's going to produce more waste in like 5 years or 10 years. So I feel as in the battery industry, this problem is being addressed, and a bunch of recycling companies have also come up. And Amton Energy is also in the work of, tying up with one of the recyclers to, understand what we can do at the end of the cycle life of our products.
So I do agree with you that, recycling is a challenge even when you talk about solar panels or solar energy. But then again, you have to compare between the two options, right? Between fossil fuel and renewable sources. So definitely we all agree that, renewable is a better source. But yes, there are some disadvantages of that as well. In Europe, or for that matter in US, they have recycling programs. There are companies, you pay an annual fee when you sell solar panels, you pay an annual fee to them. And after 25 years, they take care of the recycling, which is mandatory if you sell panels in US and Europe. Those regulations will definitely come in India sooner or later, and they'll be imposed, and there'll be companies. In fact, few of the European companies are setting up their facilities in India and getting sort of, working closely with the government so that they can have such type of programs in India. Second thing is, again, as we say, necessity is the mother of invention. If you talk about solar panels, for example, 10 years or 7 years back, you probably have, for 1 megawatt, you need probably 4,000 panels. Now, it is less than 1,500 panels. So obviously, on that front also, with the technology evolving, you need, less solar panels. So obviously, less solar panels means less recycling needed. And also, for example, what we do, like we do cleaning of solar panels using robots. So again, it's a one way of creating sustainable energy or adding more sustainability to renewable energy by saving water. So I think, yes, there are challenges, but if you have to look at holistic view, like Dr. George has said, we have to probably, strike a balance between at least out of these 2 or 3 or 4 options, which suits best in the current scenario.
I'm just going to add a small point here. So I've worked in the energy sector for some time now. And in the energy sector, I think we are the only sector that tells people to use less of our product. We always tell that use less of electricity, go more energy efficient. So we always tell people to use less of our product, and probably that's the only sector. A little while ago, someone was commenting, we are always more into consuming more. And here we don't tell you that. We'll just tell you, okay, use less of electricity.
Just to add, I think the government mandates are very important. And not only that, we give solar modules or batteries to recyclers, there should be traceability also. And with the present technologies, it is possible to trace what really happens to it. So until and then you have the ecosystem put in place, which is traceable and accountable, we still keep having these problems. You may just find out, the lead or the waste from the lithium-ion battery, surfacing somewhere else in a third world country. You don't know what's going to happen next. Or getting resold as second life or third life batteries also, which may not actually last long. So there are so many ifs and buts. So all those loopholes has to be closed, and that can be done. With today's technology, the whole supply chain, can be attacked, can be traceable. The only thing, the mandates has to be made.
I don't know it's a one-man vision or one-country vision, but we wanted to be a carbon-free, which is not possible. All of us know that truth. We cannot be a carbon-free, never. Whether it's an electric vehicle, whatever it may be, you cannot replace the high-loaded trucks run from Kanyakumari to Kashmir over the batteries. It's not possible. It's driving you nuts. That technology yet to come, unless and until we build that infrastructure. Yes, definitely, the new entrepreneur, new startup which are coming are definitely contributing to the society because they are making them aware. And lot many competition is coming. That's why we are making our society sustainable, right? So I would say the best way to predict future is to create it. It's very simple. What you want, you just create it, inch by inch. Like everybody, right after this conference, everybody's agree that everybody is rushing towards the home, right? Nobody's gonna to go Juhu Beach for just sake of, having pani puri and then go back to home. No. So everybody has that aim, from single point, it's a simple mathematical equation. From single point, n number of lines can be passed. But when you fix up another point, only one line can pass. So if you have one vision, and if you fix the other vision, you can only push one line. So all the force, all your abilities, you can divert it that second point, what you say. And that's how we have to make people aware about the basics, right? We have to go to the basics, consume less, definitely, so that everything will be less, the ecosystem will be balanced. And when we are able to make this equation balance, then we can say we are able to create sustainable society, and we can then fulfill with pride that, yes, this is sustainable environment. That's how I believe.
That's true. And so from the next year conference, let's request Dr. Bhatia to request the Taj not to serve water in these plastic bottles. I think we should start with that. Do you all agree?
So I was in one session in Delhi. I forgot the name of hotel, La Meridian, I guess. So what they have already done, they have glass, and on the top of it there is one paper cover or cardboard cover. You can write your name and then you can have the sip of water.
No,
It's very
actually,
simple.
I just like to. I consult companies for sustainability, and there's one group I started working way back in '94, and that is a CGH group based out of Kerala. They have 16 properties. If you go to any of the properties, you'll not see a plastic bottle. Whether it's a conference or in your room, it is a glass bottle. Proud to say that I introduced that concept there, and it has spread across, slowly spreading across the nation. So there's a solution for everything. Only thing you'll have to think out of the box and go out of that normal convenience you normally have. That's it. So everywhere you look at, there is excess of everything. Even if look at, if you try to see, you're going to have a tea or coffee, you have a sacket of sugar. Why? You can put a sugar on a bowl, right? So the amount of energy and waste which you're generating.
A lot of small things need to be addressed.
So many small things has to be addressed.
The common sense.
Exactly. So we are talking about all big things, but we are forgetting the basics. That's all.
Yeah, basics do add up when it comes to sustainable living. I think a lot of speakers have covered this already, that it comes from every one of us. Talking in the context of energy consumption, the awareness among the general public, to use more energy efficient devices, lighting, everything comes from all of us as a society. And then, of course, the government and the corporates are a part of it. But small measures that we take in our day-to-day life are very essential, and they really feel inconvenient at first. Like something like separating your trash, into compostable and recyclable and other materials. It's just inconvenient generally in our day-to-day life, but it does make a lot of difference. And in communities where we live, trying to impose these measures. Like where I live, I want to impose, we don't have any recycling right now, and we don't have any composting right now. It's a relatively new colony, and what I'm trying to do is have everyone separate their trash, and and put different collection measures, and then treat all of those different kinds of trash separately. So it's a lot inconvenient at times, but these things will make a difference. But we have to get used to the inconvenience. We have to make that as the new norm, as then just using this water bottle because it's convenient to use.
I think what we always say that basics are very, very important. But if you talk about consumption, especially going back to electricity. I mean, India is one of the, in terms of, per capita consumption of electricity, we are one of, I would say, the country that lies in the bottom of the pyramid. And I think as a developing nation, we all actually need to, enhance the consumption of electricity, because obviously we get into manufacturing, we get into even service industry, you need a lot of electricity. But yes, at the same time, what is equally important is how you use more sustainable ways. Probably, like you have automatic dimming of lights, when you're going to a washroom in some of the offices or hotels, they just switch on the light, and if you not, even elevators, right? You step in, they, start, otherwise they're not working. So yes, technology is playing a big role, and obviously what she said also that, even at our home, and I'm very happy to see, our future generation or our kids they are probably more aware and more stricter in terms of these things, even when probably, we or maybe our parents used to probably throw something, and now when we are with our kids, they make sure that we don't do all those. So I think it's getting imbibed into our culture, into our society, but at the same time, yes, I feel it's a long way to go, So we need to work on various levels, but it's a long way to go.
Thank you, Nimish. So we came to the last part of the session. What a day. What a beautiful day. Starts with all the panel discussion, lots of takeaway. I was engaged, always taking care of the notes from the eminent speakers who spoke across the globe over here. Amazing session. My takeaway for this session is basically the best way to predict future is to create it. And as a moderator, I open this floor for queries. And I think it's not one person, one company. It's everybody's joint responsibility to do the things, to do the basics, to teach these things to our coming generation. That's it. Thank you.
We should also stop wearing jackets at 35 degrees Celsius. Sorry, I'm just trying to be very practical. 35, I don't know whether you know, but the Japanese assembly, it's 15 years back, I think. Out of the Kyoto Protocol, the PM said, during summer, no jackets in the assembly. So I would request all of you, stop wearing jackets when the temperature outside is 35 degrees Celsius. We can ask Taj to increase the temperature here inside. It will save a lot of energy.
Hi, Swapnil again. I don't have a question to the jury, but I was quite perplexed with the contrasting thoughts or insights that you have shared.
That's the discussion.
Yeah. So it is quite good. I want to appreciate that each one of you could have had a very comfortable career, as you rightly said, in a foreign country. But you are staying here, you are addressing a problem firsthand. This deserves a special appreciation. I just wanted to
thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, I would introduce myself. I'm Anuj Nikam. I'm promoter of the company Startling Solar. We are into rooftop power solutions across 4 states. The main thing what I feel that in our industry, we have a lot of interaction with the government because as you know, solar systems, 90% are on-grid which are being installed, and without electricity department, you cannot use that systems. We talk of one world, one grid, but the problem is we don't have one country, one policy. So what we have to look into it, that when we all states, we should have a common policy for implementing the solar rooftop policy. Every state is working on a different policy, and people like companies like us who are working in multiple states have to struggle with each department, every state different in anything. So when we can talk of 253 countries at one electricity grid, why not one country and have a one common policy for all? That is what my main thing is that we all as an industry should fight with the government that you don't have disparaging policies for different states. Have one policy, and the market is so huge. Just to give you a statistics, we and China both are equal in population now, almost 145 CR. Our installed capacity is 410 gigawatt, and their installed capacity is 2,500 gigawatt. So the same amount of population, we are 1/6 what we are. So the energy requirement is going to increase and increase. And if we have this kind of, don't have a good policies of the government, it's impossible to grow at that rate what we actually want. And as you see, China is installing 50 gigawatt of solar power every year, and we are installing 13 or 10 to 13 gigawatt, 1/5 of that one. And if you have a better policy, definitely we can install far, far more than that one. That's my...
So who knows, just hold on, who knows this problem better than me? Because there was net metering and net billing was going to be enforced in 2018-19, I guess. I went on a hunger strike for 5 days, I mean, sitting in a pandal and eating nothing. There is no government in our state. And then some mantri came, and then they took us to MERC, and MERC is a quasi-judicial body. They said, first time, before even giving our judgment, we are leaking this judgment to you. We are not going to do net billing policy. And then net metering and net billing both came in existence in Maharashtra. The same thing is replicated. Yes, you rightly said, though we are one nation, but the demands and the rulers of that particular states are different, right? So it is very difficult, but still we can say we are new to the solar. China is a source country. They produce. We don't produce. We buy from them and we sell over here, right? So that is why the reason they have higher capacity. They are higher infrastructure better infrastructure as compared to us. But now we are developing, we are coming in the race, and we are educating people to go ahead. That is why we have done the anti-dumping policy. You might be aware about it. So homegrown people can take care of the capacity and quantity and as well as quality. अभी हम बच्चे हैं. We are learning, to stand on our feet. We are 5, 6, 10 years old hardly, right?
We as an industry are struggling.
We as an industry.
Are struggling, but the government is well matured enough to
They are
implement
also
the policies.
बच्चे, because if otherwise plastic आया तो पहले ban हो जाता जब produce हुआ, नहीं हुआ ना. So it's
Let me
like that.
interrupt. I am working in 20 plus countries. All countries have the challenges, including the US. Okay, this is not new only to India. Take it from me. My recommendation to you in the solar industry, sector, I started selling solar in '94, when the cost of solar was around 300 rupees per watt. Take the value of money today, 1,000 rupees per watt, today's money terms. You should sell without any government support or any government policy. That's the reason I said local. Why you want to connect to the grid? Work on projects where you can go for self-consumption. And that is going to come. There's no way the government is going to allow you to connect all the solar into the grid. It is not possible. The grid is going to collapse. The companies are going to go bankrupt. It is not going to happen. The only way you can survive in the industry is to focus on self-consumption.
No, I will not agree with you. Survive. What do you mean by survive? We are engineers. If this won't work, we'll do something else, right? So we are engineers. We are creators, right? So I don't think we are doing it for survival. No, not at all. It's a wrong concept. See, अभी भी घर पे जब आते हैं ना, जब घर पे आता है ना तो हम बोलते हैं कचरा वाला आया. अरे वो सफाई वाला है. Change the mentality. It is as good as that, as simple as that, right? So we are not surviving, right? We are engineers. We can make a wonder out of it. And what more I can say?
I just want to add one thing here. Like, from the government's point of view, also we see the problem, right? Like, because each state has its own distribution system, and there'll be a separate transmission system, and then you will have the grid. So there are issues like there are different levels to the transmission and distribution of electricity and where your project comes in. And you very rightly said that all the other countries have the same problems. So I've actually worked in transmission planning in the US, and these are exactly the same problems they face as well and talk about. And it just varies from where you are and from project to project. And I don't think anyone has like one solution, that, one policy which will solve all the problems. So it's a very state-wise, very local, and it will not have like one particular answer.
In one line, I can say when there is a problem, there is a scope of learning. Learn it and go ahead.
It's not India-centric. In the US, I have projects which have taken 6 months to commission after it is installed. So it is not India-centric. It is a technical issue basically, because grid is not able to take it. You should understand there's a limitation. So there's no other way.
I think our time is over.
Well, give them a big round of applause. They deserve.